The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eman.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Cowboys StoryLine. It is Wednesday, June the 4th. That day is important in our household. It is my daughter's birthday. So Camilla, my little sweet Camilla's turning 5 years old. Man, it's making me old or young, one of the two or both at the same time. I can tell you this is going to be a memorable birthday for her for sure. All right, let's talk some Cowboys football. Another OTA practice, getting closer to the mini camp next week, 3-day mandatory mini camp, and I guess Micah Parsons is going to be here. He's made that clear. He's made a few things clear in that tweet that he sent out the other day, and that is the ball's not in his court; it's in Jerry's court. I bet you both sides kind of have their own opinions about that. But one way or another, at least this is not the first or the last of these negotiations. They'll get done. I think I give Micah credit for being. I mean, he's still being here when he needs to be here, and he was here yesterday. He did some things that the Cowboys needed him to do from an internal standpoint as far as media responsibilities. He was there doing that. He'll be at the mini camp apparently, and what I think they call these it's not a holdout. Maybe it's a hold in. He's not the first one to do that the last few years too, as far as wanting a contract, not doing everything. And I don't think anyone's too concerned about where he is and what he's doing. He seems to be mostly committed to what's happening here, and I think when it's really time to play, he'll be here, and when it's time to practice and mandatory, he'll do what he needs to do. So it shouldn't be a concern there. George Pickens had a pretty nice practice yesterday. Looks good in his new uniform. Looks like number 3 is going to be the number for him. He made a switch with Dante Fowler. I talked to him yesterday, and Dante said that Pickens is going to do a little something for him as far as, maybe compensation. Do something as far as making that trade. But Fowler, he didn't seem to mind too much, and he's kind of big on the Fowler the 13th, which I believe is coming up here this month. So he's excited about the change, and everybody wants these low numbers, and I guess for Fowler, 13 is low enough there. All right. 888-855-2297 is the number to call. We'll start out in California, very early out there. Michael in Colton, California, what's up?
What's going on, everybody? Shout out to all the captains, and shout out to you, and thank you for taking my call. Hey, right. Nick, I just want to say, man, I love what the Joneses are doing this offseason. I have no problem being critical when things go on that I don't like. And at the same token, I like to give props where props are due,
Okay.
And I really love it, I just, one thing, man, I have some trust issues, I'm really like, I love what they're doing. I'm just like, I'm scared to drink the Kool-Aid. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, are they going to let us down again in the playoffs? And I know we're talking, way down the line and everything, but man, I would love to see our Cowboys at least make a championship game, at least advance a couple rounds in the playoffs. And I just want to hear your thoughts on that. And I want to see if you can talk me off that ledge, and I'll hang up and go ahead and listen. And once again, thank you for taking my call. God bless you all and have a great day.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that. I'm not talking anybody off the ledge or anything like that. I don't think that's where you are. I think, you've been there for a long time, and you've seen a lot of off-season moves, or maybe some off seasons where there weren't enough moves. And but either one way or another, where the optimism is high, everyone's excited about the team, and then next thing you know, there's a big loss. I mean, nothing in my time here, nothing seems to be as worse as the Packers lost just a couple years ago. That's the worst loss that I can remember, because you just had so high of expectations and hopes, and then you got your ass kicked by a team that was very lucky to even be in the playoffs, and they came in here and dominated the game from the very start, and so that was one of the more demoralizing losses. So I get it. I mean, why everyone doesn't want to be too excited, but I just look at it a little differently. I just think, I mean, you get excited about football season. That's what I do. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't speak for anyone else, and we don't tell anybody else how to fan. But for me, I just get excited that it's football season, and I can relate because my college team is very similar. Well, not very similar as far as like Arkansas and the Cowboys. It's not very similar because they don't have as much success. But for me, the expectations, I don't expect them to be competing at a high level. So to me, it's kind of fun to see what things are. But it doesn't matter what your expectations are. It's football season. It's getting there. We're getting closer. And what is happening with this team? You liking some of the moves? And I think 2 or 3 months ago, especially when the hire was made, there just wasn't a lot of optimism at all. And now Schottenheimer has turned some things around. He's impressed some people. He's raised some eyebrows. They've made some moves to go along with that. They were pretty aggressive by their standards in free agency. They did make some moves. They made some trades, about 4 trades, and then the biggest one of being Pickens. But when you look at this roster and you think, well, they've definitely filled some holes. They've also, they're getting some guys back injury wise. So, it's one to look at and say, hey, if things go right, this team could be a team that's right there in the mix. But certainly fun, and I understand the hesitant nature of, well, I just don't know if this is going to be the year. No one knows, but I do think they've done enough to kind of win the offseason, if that's a thing, and I think they've done that. All right, Jeremy, Salt Lake City's next.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Been a few weeks since I got to talk to you, so before the schedule came out.
Yeah.
As far as that last exchange there, yeah, I'm with you, dude. I'm just, by the time December rolls around, I'm so excited for football, period.
Right.
That I can't not be excited for my favorite team, even in the Campo days when I knew, it was going to be rough years.
Right.
For some reason, I got excited about Pepe Zellner, right? So anyway, as far as the schedule goes, obviously, I heard you talking last week, I think, with somebody about, first of all, the NFC East is one of the hardest divisions of football. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, it is now.
And then the NFC North, right?
Right.
And then when you look at the AFC, probably the hardest division, especially this year now with the Raiders getting Pete Carroll and Genty and Geno and the AFC West, right?
Yeah.
So if we can compete and do well, and I'm not saying run the table or any of that kind of stuff, but if we can I think we're a better team than we are last year, and we could have a worse record just because of the schedule. But if we get through this schedule and make it to the playoffs, this team will be battle-tested and will be one of the badass teams in the NFL. Think of it that way, right?
Yeah.
Every game, that isn't a pushover is iron sharpening iron, and you're going to get better as you go throughout the year. And we're not playing I think there's maybe 4 games that no game's a gimme, right?
No.
But there's 4 that we should definitely win, right? But
yeah.
The rest of them, are kind of all up in the air. And I think this team, by having a tougher schedule and having to go through tougher divisions, to a certain extent, we're all going to beat up on each other. And I think whoever comes out of this NFC East, especially because we have to play the AFC West and the NFC North, is going to be the best team in football.
Yeah.
And that could be us. I think we, obviously we've got a few worries at D tackle, right? And then maybe depth at corner and stuff. But once our injured people, Overshone and Diggs and all these guys start coming back in the middle of the year, I think it's going to give this team a boost. And like I said, we'll be battle-tested if nothing else, right?
Right. All right. I like it. I like what you're saying. You're saying there. All right, Jeremy.
Right on.
Appreciate the
all
call.
Right. It was good talking to you.
You too.
Take care, man. Thanks a lot.
I think there's something to be said for that, as getting to the playoffs and having the journey to get there. It seemed like 2 years in a row the Cowboys have, or really 2 out of 3 years when they were in those 3 straight 12-5 seasons. I guess it was 21 and then 23, where they faced the team that just got in the 49ers, and then a couple years later the Packers. And that team, I think this is kind of what Jeremy's talking about, is like you have to kind of fight to get in. You've been playing playoff type games before the playoffs actually start. You're battle tested, as he said, and you're getting there. And I think that there is something to be said for that. And if the Cowboys are going to make it to the playoffs off of this schedule, then yeah, they're probably going to be playing some December-like playoff games there at the end of the season. But for me, when I look at the schedule, and you can dissect it so many different ways, but I think of 4 games that are against teams that were really, really good, had good records last year, great records. So the Eagles, obviously, you got to play them twice. It'll be the toughest on the road. At the Lions, the Chiefs, and then the Vikings at home. So those 4 games, and I'm saying at the Eagles, which is the first one of the year. Of those 4 games, those are the games that people are probably saying, well, that's probably a loss. That's a loss. Maybe the Vikings at home. You never know. But, the Cowboys have to win these games. Not all of them, but they need to win some of them. They need to win at least one. Beat the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. Beat the Eagles in week 1. Go a week later after Thanksgiving and go beat the Lions. I mean, last year it was very evident they were not anywhere close to the top teams in the league. So playoff teams, there's a difference between the guys that make the 7th and then they make it first or second. But one way or another, though, you have to show that you can compete and you can win some of these games. And so that's what I'm looking at is, yeah, you can go all day long and say, well, they better beat the Broncos, they better beat the Cardinals, better beat the Raiders, all that. Yes. But one of these games they're going to have to win. They're going to have to go beat the one of these elite teams. And who knows if they are going to be on that same level this year. But I think the Cowboys, you can't just, because there's so many great teams, you can't just get by beating the teams you're supposed to beat. Because if you look at this schedule, they're probably not supposed to beat most of them. So they're going to have to kind of prove that. And that starts right off the bat against the Eagles. All right, let's go to Brian in Kansas City. Brian, what's up?
Good morning, Mr. Eman.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Everybody's talked about the schedule since it came out, and that it doesn't look like a third-place schedule, right? It looks really difficult, and you kind of explained, hey, that third-place finish only affects a couple of games.
Right.
All the other stuff has to do with we just happen to be playing AFC North and the AFC West this year, and that was set long ago, before anything had to do with our schedule. We have a really, really tough schedule. No question about that. I agree with that caller. But I rewatched the 2018 playoff game against the Seahawks, and I picked that game to rewatch. And I had thought about it before because guess who was the offensive coordinator at the time?
Yep. Shoddy
was their offensive coordinator. So, and they didn't have a great game that game, but they were in the playoffs. And one of the things I had forgotten, this is without beast mode. This is they had a guy, Carson was their primary running back at the time. Mm-hmm. They led the league in rushing. So, one of the things we heard when he took over is, we're going to emphasize the running game. They brought in the coaches that seemed to indicate that. A bunch of offensive linemen, coach guys that are, let's run the ball. So I had forgotten that they were that much of a running team that year. They averaged 160 yards a game.
Wow.
And they didn't have beast mode.
Yeah.
So that really gives me some hope that, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
If you give them somebody, who's competent.
I can't remember their receivers. Was it? I know Lockett was there, but was it?
Lockett was. I don't remember who the other. It was not.
Metcalf.
It was not a big name guy, but Lockett was the primary guy. They didn't have a real top name tight end either. Yeah. It was. But still, Lockett's a good receiver, and at the time coming into that game, Wilson was 8-4 in the playoffs. He was a top tier quarterback still.
Yeah.
You know, he was a good – so it just gave you a lot of hope about that. And I think for my question this week, I think I just want to know, because obviously you were at that game, what memories do you have of that game, man? And I'll hang up and listen. Good to talk to you.
All right. Thanks. I only have one. I mean, and it's one of the greatest plays in Cowboys history. We did a list not too long ago about greatest non-touchdowns in Cowboys history. You know, there's some great plays that weren't exactly touchdowns, and I'm pretty sure Dak's flip right there near the goal line. It was, if memory serves, it's 3rd and 12 or something like that from the 14-yard line or 13-yard line, and he goes up the middle and does a flip and gets to the 1 and gets a first down, and that was a huge play because it not only gave him a first down, but, you know, it took a lot more time off the clock. They ended up scoring, I think, to take a 2-score lead, and then Seattle did come back and scored a late touchdown, but I don't think it mattered. They probably had to get an onside kick. But I remember that play by Dak, and it was Dak's first playoff win. And, you know, it kind of got the monkey off his back a little bit. But that play was a really big play because it was a football play. You know, it's just a guy playing football. And that's when I think Dak is at his best, when he's not a quarterback playing. You know, he's just a football player that plays quarterback. And that's just the way I've always described certain players. I've always thought Walter Payton was a football player playing running back. Brett Favre was a football player, plays the position, plays quarterback. And, you know, when Dak is doing that, you know, then now you have to be the quarterback. I'm not saying, you know, you don't. You just have to go out there and wing it. But that was just, hey, there's the first down. I'm here. I've got to go get this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And, you know, when he's playing like that, then I think that he's a much better football player, and I'd like to see a little bit more of that. And I don't know if you have to flip like that and make those kind of plays, but you do have to kind of go be a player, and he can do that, and I still think he's got that in him. All right, let's go to Dylan, Northport, Florida.
Hey, Nick. Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Hey, all right. Happy birthday, Camilla.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. Yeah.
It's a good age, exciting time.
I don't know. I don't know about good or anything as exciting, but it's definitely something. It's something. She's got a mind.
I've got a 4 and a 6 myself, and so I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Before I ask my question, I just got to say, boy, howdy, the people in the chat that are. I think that the biggest problem with this team is Dak Prescott. I don't know what to say. I know we don't tell people how to fan, but, you know, go turn on some tape, go pay for the All-22. It's $100 a year. Go pay for that and go watch some of the routes that he's throwing interceptions on. Not saying Dak's without faults, but, my God, to place the entire franchise on Dak when there's clearly other issues going on, it gets me going a little bit and is a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
But that's not my question. Just putting that out there. My question for you, and I put this on the Twitter page the other day, between Tyler Guyton and Mozzie Smith, which one do you think the Cowboys need to step up more this year? What's more instrumental to their success?
Well, I mean, Tyler Guyton, 100%. You know, like I think it's without a doubt it's Tyler Guyton, and the reason for that is because of, you know, when if it doesn't go well, the guy you're talking about, Dak Prescott, I mean, he feels it. He may not see it, but he'll feel it because he's guarding the blind side there. So I think it's Tyler Guyton for sure. When you look at the supporting cast around the line, and you look at the supporting cast around Mozzie, you got Osa there, you got and you drafted some players, and of course you have Micah. But when you think about that offensive line, they have to have their left tackle be a good player. Now he's sitting next to Tyler Smith. There's no doubt about that. But he can make the tight ends better if they don't have to stay in and help. And so I just think it's Tyler Guyton for sure.
Yeah, on the flip side, I have a different opinion on that.
All right, go for it.
On the flip side, you can help Tyler Guyton, and you don't want to, right, with the tight ends like you just said. You want them to go out, but you do have the option to help Tyler Guyton. The issue with the one technique is you can't really help him. Like, he's the guy that helps other people. He helps the linebackers, and the Cowboys have done a great job in taking a lot of these holes they have this offseason and turning them into question marks. Like right now, the linebackers are question marks. They could be good, could not be good. Like Murray's underperformed, but he has a high ceiling. Sanborn, we don't really know what to expect, his floor and ceiling, but he could be good. But those guys are not going to be good if they have offensive linemen in their lap every single play. And I know the three techniques are more important in Eberflus's system than the one techniques, but at the same time, you can't let them linemen get to the second level all game long. And I don't want to sit on my couch again this season and watch teams running for 230, 250 and just sit there defeated and miserable. So that's not a fun way to spend a Sunday.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you on everything you said about Tyler Guyton, and I don't think there's a wrong answer on this one. The responses on Twitter were like 50-50. It was split down the middle.
Yeah.
But, I'm just worried about teams running the ball against us again all season, and I don't know if we've made enough adjustments on the roster to really fix that problem, other than just maybe Eberflus can bring something different with some of these edges and interior guys like Osa, these three techniques, to do something different than we've seen in the past.
Right, and that you could say that on the other side too, because they haven't done a whole lot at offensive tackle as far as, saying, well, this guy will compete with Guyton. And so you just like you're thinking maybe Eberflus can kind of help that. Well, maybe the scheme of Clayton Adams and Connor Riley as the O-line coach, and they can do some things differently to kind of help their linemen there. But I think Guyton and Mozzie both have had really good off seasons. Again, that doesn't always translate to the field, but sometimes it does. I mean, like I've seen it happen a lot. So we'll see if they make that jump. We wanted Mozzie to make that year 2 jump, and okay, he did, but he was pretty far down there. And we'll see if Guyton can make it as well. So both of them didn't have great rookie seasons, to say the least. We'll see if they can turn it around. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the answer is both. I mean, they need both. They need both their first round picks from the last 2 seasons to act like it. And that's so. I don't think it's asking too much to say both of them need to step it up.
Yeah, this is make or break for Mozzie at this point. And Guyton probably has a little bit longer of a leash, but if he's as bad as last season, which I don't think he will be, it sounds like he's moving in the right direction. But we can't have another season like last year where he's getting replaced by Chuma Edoga of all people.
No.
So, hopefully
right.
they both improve.
100%. All right. Thanks,
man.
Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate the call. All right, let's go to Michael in Bowling Green. Michael, what's up, man?
What's going on?
How are you?
Pretty good.
Okay.
All right. So, first of all, you got to tell that daughter happy birthday from all the StoryLine people. I know people wishing her a happy birthday.
Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate that. It's a birthday week.
And, do I?
It's a birthday week. I mean, she's been celebrating for a while here. So, that's how it goes.
Oh, yeah. And so I ain't scared. I ain't scared to be optimistic. I'm ready to go. I'm, like I said, 14-3. I'm going to stand by that until they either, make it or they lost more than 3. But I just got a question.
Okay.
I got a scenario I'm wondering about from you. All right, let's say the first game of the season, the Cowboys beat the Eagles.
Okay.
All right. For the health and the mental and everything for the next 16 to 19 games, would you rather them beat the Eagles by, say, 7 to 10 points?
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather them blow the Eagles out? Or would you rather them beat the Eagles with a last-second 62-yard field goal to win the game?
Well, and I know it's going to happen. I mean, I'll take I'll say this: the plane ride home is going to feel the same either way. I promise you that, and I've experienced that over time. So that is cool. All 3 scenarios are great. For my heart, I'll take a blowout over the Eagles. I'll take that, just because the other ones, I don't know if I want to deal with a 62-yarder. It sure would be nice to see how quiet that would be. But when you're down there at the end of the game, you got to deal with that crap. You got to deal with those fans. And so if you're blowing them out, half of them are gone. So I'll take that. I'll take a blowout over the Eagles. but either they all sound fun. If those are my only three options, then it seems like it would be a fun night one way or another. What about you? What's your pick?
I would like the 62-yard field goal.
Yeah.
We're down 1 or 2, and we can only make it to just not quite midfield, and comes out there 62 yards. Just drops over the crossbar.
It definitely would be memorable. Put your helmet on for all players when you're running out. Put your helmet on because that would piss off those drunk Eagle fans for sure. But hey, that would be a cool scenario, and I think he could do it. I think he could definitely make it. But if you're giving me those three, I'd like to. I'd like to see Joe Milton handing the ball off there in the fourth quarter. I'd like that. All right, Mike.
All right, man. That's all I had.
Appreciate it. All right, we're gonna take a break here on Cowboys Storyline. Our first one will be right back after this.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Up next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take your steak, cornbread, cobbers, pot pie, and potatoes next oval with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Level up your Cowboys gear with the latest arrivals. Visit a pro shop near you or shop online at shop.dallascowboys.com. A Fanatics experience and score jerseys, tees, and more. All right, welcome back to Cowboys Storyline here. Phone lines are open, 888-855-2297, or at least one of them will be open after this. So we got Chris, St Angelo. What's up, man?
Hey, Mr. Nick, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be you, buddy. Hey, first off, happy birthday to your daughter. 5 years old is about the age they start realizing they're the smartest person in the room.
See, I always thought it was 15. Ready. I thought 15 was the number, but it has gone down as the years have gone on, the internet, cell phones and stuff. But 5, yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Nick, I was going to talk some running backs today. Okay. You got, as far as I know, 6 people in the room with the 2 free agents, Javonte, Sanders, 2 draftees, Blue and Maffa, and then you got Lipke and Deuce. Mm-hmm. And there could be someone else that I don't know about. But let me just put it this way. Let's say whenever we're starting out, who do you believe will be the ones out there on the field? Or better yet, I could ask, who do you think will be the odd men out or odd men out in this situation?
That's a good question. I mean, before I'll answer it offline, I'll flip it around to you. Who do you think's going to be the leader? At the end of it.
Man, oh man, I'm thinking. Okay, I think they have a plan for Blue, so I think he's going to be there.
Yeah, he'll be there.
And I kind of do with the other rookie too. So with me, it's a matter of, do they start out young and run those 2, or do they go with like the Javonte and Miles thing. I think I hate to say this, but I kind of think Miles and Deuce could be the ones that could be getting chopped. But I hate to say that without any knowledge about it. But so I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's go with the rookies. Let's let them get in there and go.
Yeah, Maffa and Blue, and then one of them between Javonte and Miles Sanders. I just kind of feel like they're both gonna make it, Miles and Javonte Williams. And for me, I think I'm going against the grain by most people, but I kind of think it's going to be Miles Sanders. I think he is probably the better of the two backs, but I think they both do something a little bit different, and so the wild card here is Maffa. If Blue's going to make the team, Maffa's the one that if he comes in and does some really nice things in the preseason and says, we got to keep this guy, that's going to put pressure on one of those veterans, Javonte and Miles. But if he doesn't really take the lead there, then you can go with Blue as your rookie. Then they both make it. But Maffa to me is the wild card.
Right. Maybe he could. I don't know. Blue doesn't make it to practice squad, but maybe Maffa could.
Maybe depends on what happens in those preseason games and what he looks like and all that. But yeah, Jaden Blue. I mean, and if Jaden Blue hangs on to the football and can pass block, well enough to be trusted out there. If he can hang on to the ball and be a nice guy to catch the ball out of the backfield, then he could even start. I think that was the knock on him, was just the fumbling. But if that's not as much of an issue and he can be the dynamic runner, then he has a chance to start over those two guys.
Right on, man. Well, Nick, I appreciate that information because that got me with Miles. I guess he's looking better than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had a pretty good practice the last two practices, and I just he's done it. He's done it. He's been in a Pro Bowl. I mean, he's had a 1,000-yard season. That doesn't mean a lot for running backs because when it's over for them. I mean, it's a short window for them to be successful. But I liked what I saw from him the other day. It's hard though with running backs. It's hard to figure out, who's going to be what, who's going to do. They know what their assignments are, and then they know the quickness, speed, and burst and all that. But just from the outside, they take every run to the house. They don't get hit, so it is kind of hard to see. Is this a guy that because breaking tackles is the big thing. So when you see a guy catch the ball out of the backfield, and here comes the linebacker, and the linebacker starts screaming like, "Oh, I got you," and all that. I mean, who's to know what's going to happen until the pads come on and it's live and all that. So that's when the best running backs are the ones that can get take those 3-yard gains and make it a 7-yard gain. And that changes the entire play, maybe even the drive. So we'll see what happens. I think they're probably both going to make it, Javonte and Miles Sanders. But it's a good problem to have, especially if Maffa kind of does his thing and shows the ability to be a violent runner. All right, let's go to Lester in Minnesota.
Good morning, Nick. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good up here in Minnesota. Hey, I mean, I know you guys are there. How's the practices going, especially with my offensive and defensive line? What are they looking like out there? I know they're not being hit and all that, but what's your assessment of it at this point?
The defensive line?
Yeah, and the offensive line.
But both lines?
What's it looking like?
Well, it's for defense. It's looking like just a healthy rotation. I mean, there's just a lot of guys. It'll weed itself out, and I'm sure the cream will rise to the top. But I think for right now, it looks like they're having a lot of options for the defensive line, and then the offensive line they're moving guys around as well. It's hard to kind of get a gauge on where some of these players are going to be. B.B. Hoffman, Rob Jones. Awesome Richards, they're trying to put them in different positions because that's what happens in a game. I mean, you got to see who can play what. So, not easy to tell right now. They're not hitting each other, but you can tell there's a lot of rotations.
All right. Well, basically, they say that Shotty wants to run the ball. I think that's probably the best option. I mean, of course we got to pass the ball. I mean, I'm not saying don't throw the ball. I'm just saying, again, especially the competition we're playing this year, man.
Right.
Man, we need to keep Dak upright and healthy. So to me, in my opinion, the best way to do that is to run the ball a lot.
Right.
And, you know, of course, if they're going to crowd the line, of course, throw the ball or whatever Dak sees reading the defense. If he sees something, throw the ball. But I'm just saying, I believe the foundation of our team, our offense this year should be running the ball. Because, like I said, that'll keep people like the Kansas City quarterback off the field if we're running the ball. So that's all I got today, man.
Yeah.
Run that ball.
All right.
All right, Nick, man.
Thanks, Lester.
I'll talk to you next week, man.
Have a good
Go
one.
Cowboys.
All right, appreciate that. You know, Brian in Kansas City had that stat earlier about the 2018 Seahawks and how they didn't have a lot of dynamic players, but they still found a way to run the football, and they obviously made it to the playoffs, and that was kind of their foundation of success that year. And I think that could sort of happen with the Cowboys. I mean, I think that's why I just have a feeling that they're both going to. When I say Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, and Jaden Blue, I mean, there's not a dynamic runner, but there's. Well, I say that now. We'll see if Jaden Blue becomes that. But he's a 5th-round pick. I mean, he gets scouted like everybody else, and obviously the speed and the pass catching ability is one thing, but maybe the lack of size and also just some of the fumbling issues. He wasn't like the main starter for Texas, but when he got in, and he's used to that. He's used to that kind of role. So I think he's going to fit in nicely of just coming in, and when it's your time, go shine. But I think because running the ball is so important and they don't have that bell cow runner, I think that they're going to probably keep 3 there. And 1 week, you'll see a little bit more of Williams, maybe more of Sanders, and another week it'll be split right down the middle. But I think that they'll probably play the hot hand when it comes to the running back position because they don't have that stud, and it is a priority. But still, we'll see. I mean, I like what they did. If they get it blocked up front, then they should be fine. All right, next caller is Rob in Vegas.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Rob.
How's everything?
Oh, good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good.
What you thinking?
I have to address a couple of the calls. So Dylan, asked who's more important, Mazi or Guyton. I agree with you. It's Guyton because we've seen when the left tackle doesn't play good or Dak doesn't trust him,
right.
He doesn't play good.
Right.
So that's simple. And I think they're going to pick up somebody. Somebody's going to get cut now post June 1st, and I think they're going to pick up a big fatty in the middle there. I don't think they're just rolling with Mazi. I'm hearing these callers say, and he asked, there are certain people that their biggest concern is Dak, and that's my biggest concern. And it's not because Dak isn't a good quarterback. To me, he's a top 10. He's not 17th like whoever ranked him that. I mean, and they had Gino Casino ahead of him. I mean, that's crazy. But he's the most important player on the team. So if he doesn't play good, you can't win. If he gets hurt like he has been, you can't win. So he is my biggest concern. And I need him to play better against better teams. He's struggled. So he's my biggest concern. Listening to people talk about how the Cowboys have to become a great running team, they got to become a running team. Absolutely not. You have a top 3 wide receiver. I just said a top 10 quarterback. You just brought in Pickens. You're hoping your tight end. I don't need them to be a great running team. I need them to be a good running team. Get me more than 2 yards on first down. Get us in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 instead of 3rd and 7. That's what took place last year. this team is still going to be a passing team. They'd be stupid not to, because that's what they do best. And like I said, I don't need them to grind out 200 yards a game. It wouldn't happen anyway. And I just need them to be good. I need them to be efficient. And I think Jaden Blue's the guy I want on the field more than the others because he has the juice.
Yeah.
The other players, I think the running backs are better this year than they were last year because they're proven backs. Who's going to be on the team? Who's going to start? I don't know. But I think Jaden Blue is the guy that I want to see on the field just because he could take it to the house. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think, they're not going to be a great running team, but if the offense, the weapons you're talking about do, play up to the expectations, then they're going to have the lead in certain games, and then if you can run it efficiently, then you will probably have you could be a good running team with great running stats because of and I think you could say that in the 90s that's what the Cowboys were. Yeah, they were a great running team, but their stats were even better than that because they were able to run a lot, and that's because of their entire offense. So I
agree. I mean that's what I want to see if we've been running the ball successful and it's 3rd and 2, run the ball.
Yeah.
Then what I didn't like is when we would get 8 yards on first down and then Mike McCarthy decided to throw. Just throw. We've seen it so many times.
Right.
That I want to get away from. So last week I didn't get a chance to call in, but I heard a call me out for Lawrence Taylor being my favorite football player.
Is that what you said?
And no.
Okay.
Lawrence Taylor is the greatest defensive player that ever lived.
Okay.
And growing up in New York, when I was in high school, I wore number 56 because I played linebacker because of Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor was great, and to be honest, it was early 80s, 82. The Cowboys were 83, 84. The Cowboys were bad, and Lawrence Taylor was just the man. But my 2 favorite Cowboys are Roger Staubach, because how I became a Cowboy fan is my father bought me my first uniform, and it was the Cowboys. It was Roger Staubach. I was 5 years old, and I didn't even know who he was. I wanted Joe Namath, but it was 1972, and everybody wanted Joe Namath. But I needed a uniform to go play, and they only had Roger. And my father says, "That's Roger Staubach," and that's why I'm a Cowboys fan. And Roger was my favorite. And then when I was in my early 20s, Emmitt Smith was my favorite because he was the man. He was the most important Dallas Cowboy for the 90s teams. And they just posted something on Facebook or something saying who's the greatest running. Is Emmitt the greatest running? And Emmitt is the greatest running back. I always said Barry Sanders was the greatest runner I've ever seen. But Emmitt did everything, and he never left the field. He blocked, he could catch, he could short yardage. Barry could not. Barry could not do short yardage. He was a liability blocking, and he didn't catch the ball very well. Emmitt, to me, is the greatest all-around running back that I ever saw.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that. I mean, Emmitt, you said when he never came off the field, when he was injured, they weren't the same. They could win with backup quarterbacks. Burline won some games, and Steve Walsh won games. All that, they couldn't win without Emmitt. They just couldn't. And
Jason Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett. Yeah, of course. But no disrespect to that, because when I look at that offensive line, you look at those offensive lines and compare which line was better. As great as the O-line was, and people always say, well, Barry Sanders, anyone could have run. They didn't. Those guys didn't run behind them when the backup, Sherman Williams and Derek Lassick and those guys. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think Emmitt gets he's the all-time leading rusher. I think he's underrated, if that's even a thing, because you're right. I don't think that people throw in his ability to be durable and to be out there every single year for that long. I mean, that's why his record probably will never be broken. I mean, even if they go 18-game schedule, it's going to be hard to break that record because these running backs just don't last as long.
And they don't. And there's no bell cow running backs really anymore.
Yeah.
And they don't. Let's face it, they don't run the ball.
They don't run it like that.
Like they did back then. But yeah, Emmett was the man.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the call, Rob, and that's good. I didn't know that story about Roger Staubach and all that. You ask. We've done polls on the greatest Cowboys of all time, top 50, top 60 lists, and it's they're 1-2 right there. It kind of depends on how old you are, I guess, a little bit. But Staubach and Emmett 1 and 2. Some people may say Bob Lilly, but the greatest Cowboys of all time. I mean, it's usually those two. And for me, and probably because of how old I am, I'll say Emmitt Smith. I mean, just for that reason that Rob said. So, Rob, we're agreeing a little bit today. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. That's always good. Let's go to Casey Joe as our next caller. Casey.
Good morning, Nick. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good. I was thinking about our offense with that speed coming in with the wide receivers, Blue in the backfield. I'm just thinking, man, the offense could look really good this year.
Could. It really could. I mean, there's some things that have to go right, but that's the way it is for every year. But yeah. I mean, if there's always needs to be a couple of guys that are these swing players, can they take it do they make that leap? And always, like Deron Bland did on the other side, like Jake Ferguson did a couple years ago. Who's going to make that leap that you think is a good player that actually became a great player? And if they can get 2 or 3 of those, then I think this team has a chance to be really good too.
I do. Yep. Well, I didn't have much to say, but I just thought I'd say good morning. And
okay.
And I think they should change the name of the Girls Talk, Boys Talk to Hanging with the Girls and Talking About the Boys. See, that's what they need to change that name to.
Right.
Anyway, have a good day.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'll stay in my own lane on that one, and just we'll worry about the storyline on that one and let other people change names if they want to. I'm gonna go to break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back after this.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
There is no I in Dallas. There is no I in Hart either. No I in Blue Star or in Lone Star for that matter. And there's no I in how about them Cowboys? Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks, home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because there's definitely no I in Cowboys fans. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
To Cowboys Storyline.
This segment is presented by Yeti, officially licensed. Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops concession and on Yeti.com. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here on Cowboys Storyline. Got a few more minutes to go. We're going to have a little bit of shorter show this time than usual. Got another birthday party to go to. Hopefully this one's better than the last. All right, let's go to Chris in Saratoga Springs, New York.
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. I do have a question, but I just want to give you a quick story. Everybody asks me, how do you live in New York and whole family's Giant fans, and how do you become a Dallas Cowboy fan?
Yeah.
Quick story about my dad. He grew up in a children's home in Saratoga Springs as a kid, and the guy that ran the children's home was a huge Cowboy fan, and he would tell my father, he'd be like, "Hey, Bob," he's like, if you do all your chores every week, and you act right, and you're a good kid, he's like, every Sunday I'll let you come in here and in the office, and we'll watch the Dallas Cowboys game. So that's how my dad became a Dallas Cowboy fan, and it's like I tell the story all the time because it's in New York and everybody's Giants, and they always ask you, how do you become a Cowboy fan? Well, that's how we all became a Cowboy fan.
That's 2 stories in a row now from you and from Rob in Vegas. And again, I say it all the time. You don't choose to be a Cowboy fan. It chooses you. And that You didn't choose that. He could have been any team, but you were just trying to hang out there and with the boss. And
yes, sir.
or he was your dad was. Yeah,
yep.
but he passed it on to you. You didn't choose that either, and so
Nope.
I love it. It's great.
I know.
All right,
it is great. My question to you: what's your thoughts on the Diggs situation with him not working out with the best rehab person that I know? What's your thoughts on him working out on his own and not being with the team right now?
It's not great. I mean, it's not a great situation at all. You're right. The rehab team they have here with Jim Maurer, Britt Brown, Greg Gaither, those guys, they're the best. I'd say they're the best. They're really great at what they do. I don't know where it ranks with others. They're really great at what they do. Their track record speaks for himself. And not being here, there's more to it than just rehabbing here. It's also, it's also being around the guys and being part of the action. So, it's disappointing, and it's not, it doesn't bode well for the future in my opinion. But because these rehabs, there's good days, there's bad days, there's and you want to kind of figure out how to handle these things. All right, today we're only going to do this, we're going to do that, and then all of a sudden when it's mandatory, he's going to get here and the trainers are going to be like, well, did you do this and this and this? And it's just the communication is just not going to be good. I think he should be here, and it's unfortunate that he's not.
Do you think it's a possibility that they trade him?
Nothing would surprise me at this point. Yeah, I think, of course, I think that would be a possibility. For what? I don't know. I mean, stories, it's the internet, so stories are nationwide. So what my point is, everyone knows what's happening. So it's not like, there'll be, I don't know what the market will look like. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a terrible situation before. I mean, he came back last year from an ACL injury. I thought he played pretty well. This is a different injury, though. This is not just a standard ACL knee injury. This one's a little bit more serious, and so we'll see. Though, right now it is mandatory. Maybe he'll be back. For the stuff that's it's voluntary now. Maybe he'll be back for mandatory, and then stay longer as well.
Didn't Noah Brown have that same procedure that he had?
Yeah, it took a little bit of time, but he came back and he played well. But
he did.
Different type of player in different position. Obviously, Noah Brown is a big, strong, physical receiver, and wasn't a dynamic player. Never has been a dynamic player. Not asked to go cover the fastest players in the world. So little different when you're talking about corners, receivers, and he gets to decide when he wants to cut, and cornerbacks don't. And so we'll see if that's how it all factors in. But yeah, you would like to see him here, and everybody would want to see him here and rehabbing and trying to get better as quickly as he can.
All right. Happy birthday to your daughter.
Thanks,
and hope
Chris.
this party goes better than the last.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Has to be. All right, let's go to Sebastian, Savannah, Georgia.
How you doing, Mr. Eman?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Happy birthday to the little lady. Shout out all the girl dads out here. Got two of them of my own.
There you go.
Hey. How you guys doing today?
We're good, man. We're good. What do you got on your mind?
Hey, I'm doing great. I was just looking at the schedule and working it out. I think the first team to get to 11 wins can win this division for the NFC East.
Yeah.
So I think, I had us going 10-7. We got to find a way to get that 11th win. But as far as the first game of the season goes, I don't think we pull that off. And here's the reason for that. We have a lot of our starters working back from injury, and it's going to take at least a couple of weeks for everything to gel. And you're talking about 3 of our 5 starting corners are coming back to face 2 of the best wide receivers in the league who just came off of the Super Bowl. It's a highly emotional game. They're going to be dropping their banner. They're going to want to whoop your butt at home. So if we drop that game and it's a very competitive game, I'll be very happy with the performance there. Like you say, no moral victories. It's a loss is a loss. But I think we go 10-7 for sure. We got to find a way to get an 11th game in there and try to win this division, because it's going to probably come down to a tiebreaker between Washington and whoever the last team is in this division.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it for me, man. You guys have a great day, Mr. Eman, and I'll hang up and listen.
Appreciate it. I mean, yeah, I'm either there are moral victories. I mean, I believe that. And I still agree with the other part. A loss is a loss. And it counts the same. It's all the reason why I say that about moral victories, whatever. It's how you respond, and that's a motto of life. It's how do you respond, and how do you respond for the good and the bad. But how are you taking a tough loss? The guy, what was it, Michael from Bowling Green, put out these 3 scenarios about he would love to see a 62-yard field goal win the game. Go win the game and beat the Eagles. Okay, what if it hits the crossbar? What if it hits the post and goes off? I mean, how gut-wrenching would that be? Okay, well, what happens in week 2? I mean, what happens after that when you go play the Giants at home? That's why week 2 is always important to me. So win, lose, whatever it is. I mean, I think is how you handle certain things, and if you can figure out a way to bounce back after a tough loss, then and that's why I always think that Tampa Bay game when I guess it was 2022 when they maybe it was 21. It was 21 when they went to Tampa Bay and lost a very close game. They were the defending champs. Same thing. Thursday Night Football, the banners raised, and Tom Brady, and they had him on the ropes, and they lost in the final seconds. That was tough. That was a tough loss. Came back, won 5 in a row after that, though. So, was that a moral victory? In my opinion, it was, because I think that they fared better than they thought, and they came back and they bounced back from it, and they said, all right, we're going to be all right. And they were all right. They were a 12-5 team. So if you handle it the right way, then, you can have some losses and it can still help the team. But you can have some wins that don't help the team if you don't handle it the right way. So I think there's 2 sides to it. As Parcells would say, 2 sides to that pancake. All right, a couple more calls here. Josh in Chicago.
Nick, how you been?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, my gosh. I've been trying for the past 2 months to get in like crazy, so I'm so happy to get through and talk to you today.
Oh, man. How you doing?
I'm happy there's football because I'm a White Sox fan. So you want to talk about some misery? 121 games of dying heart is misery, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that is
looking
tough.
the team's looking a little bit better this year. But, talking football, it's been a couple months, so I just got to say first, thank you so much for the All StoryLine team. When you announced it, I was like, no way I'm making it if I didn't make honorable mention. So once I saw a second team, I was like, thank God, that's awesome. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for dedication and calling and doing what it takes to get in.
Yep, and then I know it's a little bit old, but I kind of was thinking here, what kind of grade would you give the offseason acquisition so far? And I say so far because hopefully Micah's contract gets done and they can sign another cornerback or D-tackle. Mm-hmm. But I really like what they've done so far with Sanborn, Pickens, Solomon Thomas, those type of guys. Even the running backs, I think, are smart pickups. Hoping that they can get, maybe Gilmore back or somebody else who's a cornerback with some experience with the injuries there. Maybe, once some cap frees up or something happens with Micah, then they can go out and sign another cornerback there or pick up another D-tackle. But good to talk with you, and I'll jump off the phone line.
All right. Great. Thanks for the call, Josh. Great grades for, obviously the grade is an I. It's incomplete. It's always been incomplete. But I'll play along. I mean, I think it's been a B+. And some people would say maybe an A. That's based off of the expectations of what they've done in the past. But I think they weren't overly aggressive in free agency, but they did pick up more players than they've had in the past. And I think that just comes down to the fact that you're a 7-10 team. You had a lot of free agents. Are your guys better than the guys that are out there? And a lot of seasons, the answer is yes. So keep your guys. And fans don't even call that free agency, really. I don't think fans are sitting here thinking, if the Cowboys had signed a defensive tackle for 4 years, $80 million from another team, I think they would be more excited about it than just re-signing Osa for that price. But it still counts. It's still a free agent. He was almost out the door, and they got him. So I'd say B+. It's been pretty good. It has a chance to be higher than that. And we'll see if they add some more guys. And you said that about maybe signing Micah to get another player. They can get whoever they want right now. Like they've got the money to go do that kind of stuff if they wanted to. And the reason why those guys, whoever's available, they want to be available. You know, they're not begging for a job right now. They probably not a huge fan of the offseason program or don't need that right now, or rehabbing an injury or whatever it is, and getting themselves ready to play when it matters. So there's a reason why players are on the street right now, and it's usually two ways. All right, let's go to Jeremy in D.C.
Hey, yo, Nick, what's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, boy. How you doing, buddy?
It's been a minute.
Yeah, man. The last time I called, I got disconnected. I was out in West Virginia working. So.
All right.
Yeah. I was trying to get through, man. I had to call. One day I called over like 100 and something times, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you got through today, man. What do you got?
Yeah. All right, so my number for today, because I've been forgetting for the last couple of times, but my number for today, this one's going to be tough for you, because I only found one other player with this number 20. Tony Pollard's old number, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of a trivia question for you at the same time. Let me see if you can guess that one.
Okay.
And then I just want to say, man, I'm glad that we've been making free agent moves, man. I'm so happy with the moves they've been making. Only thing that I need them to do is get like a veteran defensive tackle to, something like Hankerson to help out, when Mozzie and them guys get tired, and to show them guys how to be professional, because there's no veteran in the defensive tackle room. So I just think that they just need a veteran to show them guys and lead them guys, show them how to be more professional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, so what are you asking me about 20? You just name another number 20?
So usually I'll give you a number, and then I'll see if you can think of another player with that same exact number. And if you have a story about that player or a story about a player with that same exact number.
All right. Well, I've got 3 other number 20s, so I know there's more than that. But I mean, Ron Springs from the 80s. I mean, Ron Springs was, he was great. He was a really good player, and of course, great story there. Sad ending to his life. But Derek Ross wore number 20. I think at one point it might have switched to 21 too.
Forgot about him.
Ray Horton wore 20 as a veteran corner there in the early 90s. So I know there's more than that, but those are the ones that come to mind for me. So, all right.
Okay. All right, man. And I want to say thanks for the 13 mentions.
There you go.
And all right. I'm trying to get in more than I can, man.
Sounds good,
thanks,
man.
Nick. Don't hurt nobody today.
All right. We won't for sure. Thank you, Jeremy. Let's go. This will be our last caller today. Ronnie in New Jersey. Ronnie, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm pretty good. First of all, I wanted to say congratulations to your daughter for a happy birthday. Congratulations to Chris's kids for, I know they won a couple of championships or are doing pretty good in their baseball teams.
Cool.
So congrats to them. And so I know everybody's asking you about, the roster and this and that. But I was going to ask you, considering everything they've done this year, they haven't made moves like this in a while, right? Like, it's been a few years since Jerry Jones and the staff has made these many moves,
right?
Trades and stuff like that. So do you see them going into training camp and, not waiting till later in the season and stuff like that? If they see they're missing holes, like a defensive tackle or anything like that, do you see them making a move? I mean, considering everything they've done and everything they're doing for your new head coach, our new head coach, which, the guy seems like he's putting this team in the right direction, and everybody's in on it now. Yeah. Everybody's in right now. So I was just wondering, are they going to continue making moves if they see, according to how the roster's going? You know what I'm saying? During the season.
Well, that was my question, Nick. They did that last year. Yeah, that's one thing that Mike McCarthy did a lot of, was make moves towards the start of the season and during training camp. I mean, Anthony Barr, Jason Peters, last year trading for was Jordan Phillips. I mean, they've done that a lot. So I don't know if that will change, if that mindset changes. But no, Linval Joseph was another one. So that's something that they have done in the past. This has been a little bit more unique of the trades early. But you're always going to do that. You're going to fill some holes, and so yes, I think that will certainly happen. And let's just not forget that this past coaching staff did that too, but not to the level that we've seen this year and this early.
And that's my question, because I seen that they've traded for some players. Hey, we needed a wide receiver. We desperately needed a wide receiver. They thought they were going to get him in the draft, but hey, you know what? They made that move to get that receiver they really needed for this team to prosper, at least on the offensive side. Are they going to continue? That's what I was wondering. Like, wow, I mean, Jerry Jones, they're going in. Like, it's like last year he did it a season late. You know how he was, we're all in. And everybody was like, what's he talking about? He hasn't done anything.
Right.
But this year, it's like, it came in a little bit later. So he's actually, we're all in next year. That's what he needed to say. Because of the moves they made, right? But I was just wondering, like, if it seems like, hey, this run defense is going to be a problem. You know what? Let's make a trade. Let's get somebody that could actually help us with the run defense. Stuff like that. But, thanks for taking my call, Nick.
No problem.
I'll listen to you on the other side.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, Ronnie. It is funny. This does seem a little bit more all in like than what we saw last year. I mean, I don't think that they're done making moves, but I do think that they've made a lot already, more than normal. But they still, there are players. It's not just a Cowboys philosophy. There are players that are getting themselves ready to go for this time of year. I mean, and maybe they don't want to go to camp, or they don't feel like they need to. They're not even looking to sign, or their price tag will drop when it gets to that point. One way or another, though, there's always a market for some players that are still out there that aren't ready to sign just yet. So we'll see if the Cowboys decide if they want to go that route. All right. It's been a good show, really good show. Appreciate you guys calling in, and we will do it again next Wednesday. Stay tuned for the schedule. Might be a little bit different with you got the mini camp next week, but Chris Beam will have it all figured out for you, and hopefully we'll be on normal time next Wednesday. All right, for Chris Beam, Nick Eatman, see you next week on the Cowboys Storyline. Bye.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this?